I never thought I'd take a look at a point-and-click game on this channel, but here we are. I think the last game that I played in that sort of sphere, off the top of my head, was the Telltale Poker Night duology, and that's just poker. Though both games got delisted from Steam, the first one is getting a remaster, and I think that's pretty cool.
Hi, future me here. I just wanted to say that while I was recording the dialogue for this, the game released. So, go play it.
Anyway, at the time I started writing this script, the game had just come out, and my first playthrough took about like 2 sittings because I started it pretty late. But better late than never, I suppose, and as it turns out, I am very late to the party. I am so sorry about that. I meant to cover this sooner, but I was knee-deep in another video that required my full attention, not to mention I had to fully re-edit that video twice, and after finishing the second edit, I mentally collapsed and did nothing. And now that I've taken my impromptu vacation, I feel great. Now, if you don't know who this Erma is, well, first off, it's a slice-of-life comedy horror webcomic created by the biggest advocate of the greatest power couple in Mario history, even though they never met outside of spin-offs, Brandon Santiago. It started as a DeviantArt and Tumblr comic in 2014, debuting on a site I never heard of called Tepes in 2016, and reached Webtoons in 2018, with that version still going strong to this day. It also got a spin-off comic series, a couple graphic novels, and an animated series viewable on YouTube. I'll leave them in the pinned comment below if you're curious, including the game's Steam page. And if there's anything else I'm missing, please let me know, because I'm just skimming through shit today, and there's just not a lot of info out there about this, so I'm just going off of vibes, you know?
Oh my god. Ugh. I need to shave.
And secondly, Erma herself is a half-human, half-yokai hybrid, born to a human father, Sam, and yokai mother, Emiko. Sam, my guy, what's your secret? Because I think I had a buddy who tried to do this himself, and, let's just say he's not doing so well.
I still remember his last words. Damn, that bitch was hot.
I did binge read the webtoon comic a while back, and it was a great time, but all I have to say is, man, this comic went places, especially with the family reunion arc and its aftermath. Christ alive, this kid's gonna kill us all one day. As for the game itself, it began life as a crowdfunding project in 2019 via Indiegogo. Though it succeeded, it took its sweet time to come out. I mean, there were numerous issues that put the game in a very tight spot, but I'm willing to cut it some slack because it eventually did come out. And the best part? It's pretty damn good. It felt kind of nostalgic playing a game like this again, because I remember playing a bunch of these point-and-click games when I was a kid, especially from Humongous Entertainment, and I think a good chunk of those games got remasters for modern platforms. So, parents, if you somehow managed to find this video in your recommendations, share these games with your kids. And if you're a young kid watching this video, first off, hi, how are you? How'd you find this video? And second, stop it. The story is rather simple. A science fair project goes wrong, and it's up to Amy and Erma to... okay, scratch that. It's Erma who's doing most of the work. Amy just vanishes until the end of the game. Some friend she is. No, I'm just kidding. Those two are inseparable. Literally. Your goal is to get the missing body parts for Mr. Dead inside. I love that pun, by the way. And of course, you'll be encountering all sorts of people who need your help with something, or just little shits in general. The witch who ends up blowing up the moon, this creepy-looking fisherman who suspiciously looks like Gabe Newell, Cyrus the undead dog running away with an object he's not supposed to have, that hits me on a personal level, Terry the little prankster who gets his shit rocked, and Sydney the human rat hybrid who is a shockingly sore loser when it comes to rock, paper, scissors. I mean, I did 3-0 on my first playthrough, so maybe the crash out was justified. That didn't happen in the footage I recorded, unfortunately, but I played it again just to recreate the moment. Now wipe that shit-eating grin off your face, Erma. We have a demon to summon. God damn it, this happens every time! Anyway, what you're supposed to do in these kind of games is pay attention to your surroundings and click around. You might find something silly, or you might find something that'll help you progress. You'll also have to do some inventory management, and although your inventory is pathetically small, you're not going to be carrying every single item with you, and certain individual objects can be merged together to make another object that's going to be given to the person that needs it at that moment, so your inventory is never going to fill up. You will be playing a lot of minigames though, like Whack-A-Mole with the broomstick and the undead, a fishing minigame that I wish was a bit more clear on how you control it. I thought it was going to be like the maze game or something, but no, you're supposed to click the left or right side of the screen to move the fishing hook from side to side while avoiding the fish and getting the seaweed. Rock, paper, scissors with Sydney, and the choose the right direction and hope you don't screw up game. I was very confused about this one at first, but I looked up a walkthrough after a bit of trouble and I suddenly feel like an idiot. Yeah, the game's very cryptic about this, so I might as well. After the first 3 rooms, you're supposed to pay attention to the number of eyes, birds, and bats in the trees. See more eyes? Go forward. More bats? Go right. Birds? Go left. Once I figured that out, it was fine, but it did overstay its welcome. I really didn't like this one, but hey, you might have better luck than I did. The game isn't terribly long. You could finish this game in under an hour, cutscenes and all. But if you decide to go for the post-game stuff, it might take a little longer. But I haven't done that yet. Getting those files requires that you play the minigames again, but doing very specific things instead of playing correctly. It mostly has something to do with the color red, strangely enough, so wonder what that's about. I'll probably do this in my spare time. The only other issue I have with the game are largely technical. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can run the game on a freaking potato and it performs really well. But I did start the game on the Steam Deck and it worked just fine while using Proton Experimental, but after finishing the graveyard section, the game just refused to load the next area, and even after restarting the game, I got stuck in a loading loop and couldn't do anything. Hi, this is Greenboy from the future. I've got this portion written down so I don't stutter, but in the original script that I already recorded at the time, I said that the game had some Steam Deck compatibility issues. But I didn't have the footage to prove it, so I tried to record some footage with Proton Experimental, expecting the game to just hang on a loading screen, but it shockingly worked. It was able to load the next area, but the performance, on the other hand, was very concerning. It would stutter like crazy and would be borderline unplayable in most cases, since my inputs kept getting eaten. However, after applying an update to the Steam Deck and letting Proton Experimental update, most of the crazy stutters vanished. But I kept playing the game to see what else would happen. As a result, I unintentionally did another full playthrough of the game. I mean, the game was under an hour long, so I really didn't mind. And all I had were a couple stutters here and there, and some moments where I had to be incredibly precise when placing down objects or giving them to certain people. And if I hadn't been holding my phone up to record, this would have been an okay experience. I still suffered a crash with Proton GE when I was trying to figure shit out though, so that's probably a skill issue on my end. I don't know. But I also later found out, thanks to a ProtonDB report by the user Jiro, the fishing minigame at release was bugged on both Windows and Linux. I didn't suffer any issues with that on my playthroughs, so I'm assuming it got fixed or I was incredibly lucky. Again, if you have any tips to at least minimize the stutters, please let me know in the comments below or go report it on the ProtonDB page. And now, back to the program. I did switch to Windows for recording and had little trouble. However, I did accidentally softlock myself while chasing Cyrus in the park, forcing me to restart the game. So yeah, don't go backwards while chasing the dog. I tried to reproduce it here, but I couldn't, so I may have gotten incredibly unlucky. Thankfully, the game autosaves before the start of every area, so it's not a start over kind of softlock, it's more of a minor setback sort of thing. The cursor also doesn't really do a good job telling you what's clickable, and because of that, I may or may not have had a moment where I accidentally opened the inventory during a screen transition. Well, nothing broke, thankfully, it was just odd. Was this because I was playing the game at 1440p? Maybe, but you will have to tweak the resolution on the OS level because it doesn't allow you to do that in-game. And the sound mixing is also very off, especially with the zombie whack-a-mole minigame, so yeah, turn down the audio or take off your headphones before going in. You'll thank me later. Aside from all that, it was a very comfortable time. Plus, it was really damn funny. It's nothing groundbreaking, sure, but it works at what it's trying to do. For $5 to $6, this is a keeper. Give it a shot if you want to, and maybe give the comic a read and watch the series too. The Ghost Kid will thank you for it. You know, I can kind of see why this Brendan advocates for Pauline and Rosalina. I mean, they befriended the ghost child, so does that mean they'll survive the rapture?
Scroll further.
Excuse me?
You heard me. Scroll further.
Okay, let's just, Oh.